CEX starting on the T side. Are you ready for the finals, Harry?
Of course I am, mate. It's going to be a great one, nonetheless. As we're going to see what CEX can actually do to try and get this first map win on the board. As it's crucial for them. Try and get something going off the bat, but already gunfight is going down and Thomas is going to try and get one, and yes he does. Robin gets two. It makes it 3 and even 4. That's remarkable stuff coming in as MT tries to get another one, but sadly it's not going to be the case as Max finishes him off nicely.
I mean, that is just vintage as well, by the way. Robin gets the 4K. He busts out the shank instantly. You see him just ready to start swinging on Monster. Man, you never really know what you're going to get, especially when Robin's playing in the Prem. It's always as if he's just like, right, the chains are off even more so than normal and just starts giving it.
Yeah, he just seems to have an on-off switch, doesn't he? Like, I wasn't expecting that. I thought Thomas was going to get a couple of frags. That's why I thought he actually got the first frag on the board. But Robin just came in steaming. He didn't even care at all in the slightest. Covered Thomas nicely. But now, what can CEX do here? We'll be rotating around connector to try and see if they can find anything on A. But Robin is more than ready, as he could be extending amount of frags he has for now, but he's going to try and get one, but backed off just a little bit here, but has to get first on the ball, but finally gets taken down by Murky is crucial. Will get a lovely nade there. He's going to try and clean up, managed to get one. You find the second node. No, he doesn't. He gets taken down, but Thomas managed to get the trade for the time being. So it's just Murky and MT left to see if Thomas can at least keep them at bay.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the Famous to work with, takes a bit of damage, so there's no point overstepping the mark. You might as well fall back and stay alive for later, but that's really just going to be a dream for him now as he's left sleeping. Murky, the only one that remains, has that M4. Was hoping to cause a bit of a ruckus with a silenced weapon, but couldn't really get too loud. Does go down. Nice bit of money taken out the hands of Endpoint at the very least, Harry. They made the round costly.
Yeah, in terms of the economy, it's a little bit of a pain in the backside, but I think they should be okay going into this next round. But what is going to be the answer for CEX here? As we do have 3 AKs, a couple of Galils. But it looks like this could be a fast B push here, but the molly does come down, but it doesn't matter as Surreal gets the first one off the bat. As he's going to push back slightly for now, as Max is going to try and push in, managed to get one. Nuke Dog gets to training on Thomas. The Cypher's still waiting to see if anyone from Endpoint will rotate round from B short, but it doesn't matter as Cypher has to clean up Robin. And still it's going to be 2v2 as Cypher finally gets taken down. And Murky is the last one left standing in a 1v1. And will he be able to take him down? Not yet, as it's going to be a little bit of a slow play from both these players as Max is backing off.
He's gone for the Mighty Max rotation the whole way back around. Play your cards right on this one. It could be a big win to find. Murky still has the Kalashnikov. He's got a ton of time as well. And he's gambling on the idea that Max is just going to re-peek from short. In reality, it's the full rotation. He's now going to slow it down, obviously walk back round through maze, and then peek out on towards the sides. Now, all depends on the angle that's in play from Murky. He was a little bit paranoid about upper for a split second there, Harry. If he keeps himself exposed, though, Max should be able to swing, and it should be an easy clean-up onto this. He's played it perfectly. Does the damage, a little bit close for comfort, but he will still pick up the 3K, and a classic Max round is found.
Mighty Max rotation. I didn't expect to see it so soon. It doesn't matter anyway, but that's the game sense on Max. He made that rotation quick. He didn't hesitate. If he did hesitate a little bit and then rotated, then I feel like by then you would have saw the member of CEX would have had or would have been in a much better position just to make sure he doesn't get the retake. But too little too late there as Endpoint must get that third round on the board.
A little bit of commotion in spawn early on from CX. They were setting up to do the default smokes, but I think they got confused about who was actually throwing what. So obviously you can see that slowed them down. Not really a big detail that could affect him in the long run, but just a nice little small one to notice. Thomas has been put up on the pedestal. That's Nuke Dog down instantly as he's been sent to the pound. Oh!
Crucial now, it's just taking so much damage there. Finally gets taken down from a nade from Murky. We spoke about him earlier in the pre-show where Crucial's been stepping up massively, but so has Murky. As now it's going to be a 3v2 as CEX will be going for that rotate round A, but as you can see, Endpoint are more than ready for this. As Impact is going to see if he can get the first pick to get something going here on the side of CEX, but making a little bit of noise just to show that they are actually here and aware of their whereabouts. But Thomas is just going to cause some commotion as Murky gets taken down by Max. Impact gets one, but doesn't get two in the end. As Endpoint increase their lead. Max getting two there. Going 6-0. Not bad, not bad. He's doing all right, isn't he, Jack?
Yeah, it's a great start to the game. Impact certainly had a couple of nice little frags into that round, though, both of them being fairly disgusting with his Galil. The rapid flick on the site was a lovely little tidbit to notice, but obviously rounds are the commodity, Harry, not just the frags, and right now Endpoint are definitely winning 4-0. CEX back into it with a Tech 9 train. It seems like we're going to try and pull into the station of B. Or Max can have a field day here with the AK, surely. If not him, the rest of the team should be able to clean up. And the only one really to find a couple of frags is Nuke Dog and MT.
Nice attempt there from CEX. Didn't go their way, but that was to be expected as Max was just hiding on their monster, making sure he can try and catch him off guard, which he did. Managed to get a couple of trades there. So CEX, not the best of starts, but it's still early on into map number 1. That Molly will keep him back for the time being, but we'll be pushing through anyway. So Robin has to be slightly careful, but he realises that he doesn't want to cause any disruption as Thomas is waiting patiently. See if anyone does come from short, but not as of yet, as CEX are playing very patiently.
They're rotating back around, obviously just playing a little bit of a slower default into this round. They've been doing good in at least keeping the rounds close. They've not been bloating too much for Endpoint. Haven't been able to build up a ridiculous bank. As you can see, it's at least low across the board. CEX currently just clearing as a squad. They've wolf packed up. They're trying to get that toilets control. But they are going to be coming up against the crossfire of both Crucial and Robin. That is not the site I would want to be walking into.
The Cypher now is just waiting for Robin to see if he does flank or rotate in any way, but decides to pull back. But that's such important info for Endpoint, as Robin is now going to mention they could be pushing from connector to B. That's a huge amount of intel there, as New Dog's going to see what he can find, but the smoke does come in, and Surreal more than prepared for it, but Max has to be slightly careful. But look how close he's pushing in. Has to take down one, takes down two in the end. Gobsmack, no one even realised it, but finally gets taken down. A great shot it from Murky. Just go for the second, doesn't in the end, but the plant could possibly go down, but Robin's already on the flank. As even though it goes down, they've got plenty of options there to see what they can do. MT's gonna get one, but will he be able to take down Robin here? As he's only on 35 HP. Will he be able to take him? No, he won't. It was a good try in the end, but Endpoint just had all the angles covered, the most important angles to say the least. And Robin, that was a very important round for him. Just keeping him on the back foot as CEX do not have an answer yet. As we head into the 7th rounds with Endpoint up 6-0.
Yeah, this has been a really unfortunate start for the game for them. Some of the clutch rounds they've been in, again, 2 1v1s that have been snatched away from CEX when they're actually quite close to grabbing it with both their hands. It is unfortunate. So falling back into that default once again as well. They're going to go for both their smokes and attempt to try and burst out late into the round. They do have the early connector controls. They can swarm when needing to. Endpoint have pushed up a little bit deeper as well. Obviously, Crucial is now on the AWP, and that is going to be the big point. You've got Joey on the AWP. Didn't even need to buy it. Kindly donated to him by Murky. That's when they really get a bit scary on the Endpoint camp. Joey on the AWP, Harry, can be a mean machine.
Yeah, it's the first time he's been running an AWP this game, which is also good, which means he'll be changing up his positioning a little bit more. And I think that's why he kept the M4 for the time being. because he won't play the same angles, and he'll keep himself a little bit more unorthodox as Max gets the first frag of the round as Empty does get taken down. Robin could get a second here depending on the circumstances, but Cypher takes him down. Oh, missed shot there from Crucial as Cypher gets a second, and that's the perfect way to try and enter it. Thomas is still waiting, gets one. Would he get a second? Almost. It just barely managed to not take him down as Impact cleans up, and now Max has already rotated round. He's going to see if they do push up any further. And not to be the case, it is a 2v3 in favour of CEX.
25 seconds left on the clock. Murky smokes over, blocking off CT. Max just holding, stepping around bank, revving his engine, getting ready to try and burst out on towards the site. They don't really have much utility left to work with, but they do have that all-important kit on Surreal. Max on the peak finds the first as Murky will get left laid down on the ground. Push coming out now, and so we'll need to speed this one up a little bit. Luckily, they had that smoke in the back pocket of Surreal, making it a little bit easier. Mighty Max with the clever play, puts himself up on top of the box, peeks through and finds the first. Nuke Dog though spamming back, doing a lot of damage. Gets the connection onto Max, but Surreal swings and strikes a little bit harder. The 7th round, a third clutch that could have gone the way of CEX. Barely stolen away one more time.
This must be getting so frustrating for CEX now. 3v2 advantage. Had the bomb down, had the angles necessary. But after Max got that first pick, that was pretty much it. It was a real shame, but Max has just been playing it out of his mind. But now have to see what CEX can do to try and answer back in some way, somehow. As it's not been going in their favour, and it's going to be a little bit unlucky at times, but we'll have to see what they can do, because Max has been catching them off guard quite a few times, as already Crucial gets one, doesn't get the second. As Murky cleans up, Max isn't having any of it, as he's on 21 HP, but we'll pick up the AWP for the time being. Good idea considering his HP, but this is what Endpoint could have needed, as Max is only on 21 HP still, so he's going to try and sit back as CEX are looking to possibly go for the A site.
I mean, they've pushed up. They've got deep toilet control at the very least. Obviously, Crucial's already out of commission as he was trying to play with Max to get the early control down towards Connector, meaning it is only Robin that's there. So they've had to make the rotation for Thomas. They've slapped him on the site now. He'll be gaining all of this info. Robin's play is going to work out. As long as he just holds the angle, should kill the rotate coming in from long. Now he has the backstab and also has the potential added paranoia of the fact that CX is going to be worried about him swinging out from long. But he falls. Cypher will find him and tackle him. Thomas comes back through with one of his own, and you're just left into this situation. A 2 versus 2, and the nade from Max could be all it takes. Falls a little bit short. His dunking skills, not quite as effective as his fragging potential. Oh.
My words, that was ridiculous. At some point, I was actually quite surprised that nade didn't even finish him. They were both still on 15 and 12 HP. It was just barely out of range. That would have been a funny way to clean things up. But again, another retake. Endpoint, there's no stopping them at this point, as CEX are riding that struggle bus. And this is not the best start. Overpass is a map they wanted to take straight away to at least give them some kind of momentum, but they're going to have to reset their mentality at some stage, some time, as a tactical pause surely is going to come in soon.
Yeah, it does make sense, obviously, as well. Go for the pause, slow down the pace of the game a little bit. In reality, it's normally one of those where if you continue to go on to lose 3 buy rounds, at that point, take that pause, talk about it, because clearly something's going wrong. There has been a lot of rounds that have been close, 1vx's. I think 3 of them we've seen where literally the flip of a coin could have affected the outcome and pushed them into a position where this could be a bit of a closer game. Because of that, they were quite hesitant to obviously make the use of the pause, probably just thinking, we can win these, we're just losing out on certain firefights. Now you come back in, a little bit refreshed, you've got the AKs in your hands, set the tempo. They just need to close out their clutches. Unfortunately for Cypher, he's been set ablaze and was nearly taken out of commission instantly to open this one up. And the game of push and pull as well is working very well for Endpoint, Harry. You can see how much map control they've got. Look how restricted CeX is in reality. And Robin, painting a pretty picture, spams him straight through the flower. Murky, down on the ground instantly. There goes Impact. They're trapped, and it's not working well.
Robin and Max are the kind of players where you push up or make the rotate and you think to yourself, why are they there? Like, they've done that on so many occasions now. And it really is a real pain. As Crucial has pushed up slightly to see if you can find any info on what CEX are up to at this point in time. But it's not looking too good as Nuke Dog's on 34, Cypher's on 12 HP. But I think they're waiting to see what they can find here at A. But now, though, Crucial is still there, but I don't think he's going to realise that they're going to rotate behind him. Possibly, but it doesn't matter as Max takes out MT. Crucial's still finding the whereabouts of those two players, but they've already gone past him. So if he returns, he's already got the flank behind him. Thomas, the call comes in. Crucial's going to know straight away as Cypher is the last man left standing. Great frag on Crucial. Just a little bit too late as Thomas cleans things up. 9-0 now. Completely unheard of. And look at that now. Thomas, 9 frags, 8 assists, contributed to 17 frags. And it's only been 9 rounds, Jack. Madness.
Yeah, I mean, if we're just looking at the stats alone, Max, 14 kills to his name. He's been absolutely popping right now. The Heath is in town. He's a bit of a beast. 143 ADR. It's just madness, Harry. Obviously for CEX, they're straight forced back down onto the Tech 9s as well. They want to go for another burst play. Will it pay off this time around, or is Crucial going to have a field day? He does pop up, and that one's certainly reminiscent of his heydays. He is starting to put them all down. Nearly the follow-up headshot onto the third as well. You can see he was ready for it. Robin with the backstab, but as the smoke dissipates, he does too.
And Thomas now, that's another great frag. Gets taken down finally by MT. As speaking of MC, he is going to be the last one left. As Crucial's waiting for him, just barely misses the shot. That was so important. But it doesn't matter anyway. Cyril gets the refrag. Did like that from Cyril. I think it wasn't that he was impatient or anything like that. He just wanted a few more extra frags in his name, Jack. He just wanted to add a little bit more to try and pad his stats. He did get a couple to kind of cut things off when they were trying to push up to aim. But he did more than enough damage. So 10-0. I don't think we expected this straight off the bat in the first map of this grand final.
Not really, not when you consider as well. We're like 17 minutes into the game, Harry, and it's already a 10-0 scoreline. Endpoint have just been rapidly crunching their way through on these rounds. They're playing so aggressively. And talking of aggression again, Robin. It's really part of his character. It's why he's always played the game. He likes to try and get in your face when he feels that he's got the confidence to do so. Playing up close person with the MP9, he can do so much, especially if Thomas aids him, but he won't get a chance. Cypher slaps him through the smoke, breaks his neck. They now storm their way up towards the bomb site. The nade does a lot of damage, and finally Cypher's come online. He's got himself a couple of entry frags. CeX actually have room to breathe into these rounds. As previously, they've been so pent in, they haven't really been able to do much. I don't know how Surreal has found that frag on MT, though, and this could cause a bit of carnage.
That was a huge frag there from Murky. Surreal, he would have had the flank round and got behind him. That's another great angle, but has been shut down as Max is trying to make something happen here. Because it does clean up one. So Murky and Udall, last one's left. And it's just Murky versus Max in a 1v1. But will he go for it? Will he be able to hit him? Yes, he does. And finally, CEX do get their first round on the board. Better late than never, eh, Jack?
Yeah, definitely. And at least here's the big picture, right, Harry? Endpoint, look at their cash. They're absolutely broken. They have no money because of how close the good majority of these rounds have been. They've never really been able to rack themselves up a large amount to play with. So they really need to take their time. It's like buying a banged up car, Harry. It's just not worth it. Because Jake's just do a little bit of driving. This is nice. It's like GTA.
Can he drive her?
He can actually, yeah. He's given me a lift quite a few times.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. He's a good driver.
Are you sure?
Apart from that time he nearly crashed into a pole.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Windansky stopped him though, so it was all fine in the end.
You'd hate to see me drive. I'm awful.
I'd love to see it. Oh, look at that little panning shot there. It's like it's POV shot. It's like, you know, those YouTube channels where you can listen to music and it would just be like Sean DePaul temperature, but playing through bathroom wall at house party. So it sounds kind of muffled. It's like that, but it's just CSGO game, but you watch from car.
Oh, maybe I have to play it just to see what it's all about anyway. As we go into the 12th round, it's a real pushed up quite deep into short B. But Cypher takes down 1, takes down 2. His entries have been formidable for the last couple of rounds, as if it already pushed on to the B site. There could be a save here, as I wouldn't be too surprised as CEX get the bomb down and just looking to see what they can find. Don't have much weapons in their arsenal or util, so that's understandable. Endpoint assume they're gonna not take this round anyway. But we'll have to put a touch on Cypher. He has been playing really well, and in the interview, they were saying that his aim is just remarkable. It's very difficult to take duels against him, and I'm gonna have to agree. I didn't see too much of him on the previous Prem weeks, but he's definitely stepped up in this final, even though the scoreline is what it is.
Oh, I mean, he's definitely crisp. Like, he can hit quite a lot of disgusting shots. That's one of the things about the CS roster is, like, the aim potential is absolutely there for a lot of them. Murky's been stepping up massively recently, so much for the AWP. His clutch potential's been through the roof. Nuke Dog, obviously trying to transition away from the fact that he had to be a star player, but he's always had that, being a bit of a natural talent to him. He can rip heads off left, right, and center, and if he can couple that with his calling, then obviously that's a fantastic position to be in, because it means you can still at least back up your jab with your little uppercuts. Now, for Endpoint, it's just the fact the whole team is essentially a star-studded roster, right? So you never know which player is going to step up or if they'll all work together. Again, they've had to eco because their cash has been absolutely battered. So that's all it took, really, was the one straw to break the camel's back, and they could potentially have 3 rounds just off the back of that one clutch from Murky here, if they can convert these, though. And that's the big question. Endpoint, do they have any shenanigans they can throw at us? The only man that would be able to do so is Robin, as he's going to try and get the info, as it seems like it is an A play.
Yeah, so the clutch rounds managed to take, leaving only 1 alive most of the time, causing a lot of economic damage. But the smokes do come in for CEX, as Robin is going to back away to bank for the time being. Money does go down, but there's at least 3 members for Endpoint already at CT. 4, shall I say, now is Cypher. See if we can get some damage done across. Crucial is to see what we can do as well. Doesn't really find too much, but Robin does take a lot of damage. So the pullback for the time being. MT is trying to get away as far as he can, try and get at least take the aim duel from far away, as he will have the long range advantage with the AK. Patience does go in as Max is just holding it for now, and there still is an impact is going to go take him down. And that was beautiful from him. A nice little 4K to add to the tally. It was going through in a level 1 stage, now he's going 7-11, so it's going to boost his confidence ever so slightly, because we know Impact is a great player. Had a little bit of a slow start, but he's woken up now.
Yeah, they were just all marauding into him one by one. They lined up into the spray perfectly. It was ideal for him. 10-3. Cash finally back in the hands of Endpoint. They don't have the AWP, though. So obviously Joey not going to be able to get as aggressive. That might be a bit of a blessing in disguise, though, as much as it could have been a detriment. Talking of detriment, CX, they miffed the flash coming in towards the site. It all goes a little bit wrong on the push, and the execution isn't really perfect for them. Luckily, they're being bailed out by the individual prowess, as a head is popped clean off of Thomas's shoulders. Murky with the flick back onto Robin as well, with decapitate him, and it's all up to Crucial, with just the M4 in his hand, clutching onto it as he plays behind the smoke towards bridge. What more damage can he do? Doesn't have a kit, but he's still got enough time. He's waiting for the smoke to dissipate, but he's close inside the smoke. It's going to fade faster for MT, and MT will make quick work of Joey.
Well, 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 CEX, welcome to the grand final. They have finally woken up after hiatus for the time being. But this is good, though. Even though They could potentially take 5 rounds on the T side. It's better than the 2 or 3 they could have had, especially on overpass. So we're given a little bit of breathing room, considering what happened before. But Impact's going to go straight in. But Robin, no fear as he was rushing through mid. But can Thomas clean things up and manage to get 1 on the board? At least he gets a slight trade, but he's going to try and get another. He doesn't, just barely edges out there. Crucial gets 1 of his own. Gets cleaned up by Murky. Impact gets Thomas finally after pushing from long A. But now it's only Max and Cyril left. But good stuff from CEX. This is exactly what we wanted to see. We weren't really too sure about them to begin with, even though there is no pressure on CEX. But it's nice to see they've woken up a little bit as Max is going to try and get another one, but it's going to back off for the time being.
I mean, they're showing confidence at least, and that's the ideal point, right? They've come back into it. They've been able to at least wake up. Now you've got a large collection of rounds to work with. It's so much better than the position they were initially in. Question for me, though, is can they close this out at a 10-5 half, or is the potential for the 11-4 still there? It would need to come down to Surreal and Mighty Max, a dastardly duo on the side of Endpoint, to finish things up with the Deagle swinging, but no real connections. However, the distraction plays the bigger picture as Mighty Max swings and chops through them very easily with the M4. It is crazy. Obviously, Thomas normally loves the eco frags, so I'm not surprised with the amount of tags he's probably been able to rack up into this one. He's been on point recently as well, normally a bit of a Mac 10 madman, so hopefully we see him busting that out. Good old Thomas the Tank Engine will definitely be trying to pull into the station. Round 16 then, second pistol, Cypher. Over towards long. Normally a bit of a head popper, but not actually landing those shots just yet. And this is a mass rotation. Obviously, off the back of that one bit of info, they've reshuffled their entire CT side defense, essentially.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a surprise, but due to how long it's going to take for them to rotate, we'll have to see what they can do. As Impact and MT are standing by, but they're going to find the info now and realise that even though Cypher did see 4 long at one stage, they've already made the rotate, so it could be quite bad here for CEX. But MT and Impact are slightly ready, but they've pretty much been given the sight here. As Endpoint are probably wondering what on earth's going on, as they have been fooled nonetheless. But Cyril is going to be boosted up, sorry, Robin to heaven as Max is more than ready. See if he can catch him off guard, but nonetheless he does get taken down by Murky. Crucial to do what he can, but Thomas comes from behind, managed to get 1 on the board. Will he get a second, maybe even a third? Yes, he does. Ooh. Beautiful 3K there from Thomas to end things out from the round. So second pistol goes to Endpoint, and this is not looking good for CEX again.
No, this is definitely starting to fall back into the rough ride territory, especially because now you've got the squad on Endpoint with firepower, with rounds as well, and a lot of bang for their buck. CEX, this could go 13-4 before they even really have a chance to try and get a little bit more rowdy back into it. At least they're using their eco for something a bit spicy rather than just playing it out default. Obviously, push up, work as a squad. They've got aggressive control towards deep toilets, but that does mean that the B site is entirely open. They've basically put down a welcome mat and invited him in.
You're not wrong there. We see a couple of Mac 10s and 3 AKs from the side of Endpoint. Sadly, Thomas doesn't have it, but we may see it later on during the course of the series. Cyril is just hanging around connector for the time being, just being a little bit of a nuisance as he's waiting for the rotate from CEX. But oh my goodness, this could be an important way to start things off. But he tries to get 1, but at least he's got damage on the second. So MT has taken a huge amount of damage as Robin wants to get a few on the board for himself. He doesn't, but managed to get 1 anyway. Thomas gets a second, gets traded, and there's only MT left standing, and Crucial cleans things up for another round for Endpoint.
Easy pickings right now for Team Endpoint, just being able to steamroll through them, it seems, as they've come back onto the upwards draft. Max holding on to the Mac 10, still trying to make some money going forward. The rest of them taking the AKs into battle. CEX do have money to spend at least, though. 1 org coming through. Murky is going to be the sole auger. Big fan of the movie 300. The rest of the squad, of course, just sticking to their FAMASs and M4s. Round 18, Harry. CeX, if they have anything left in them, this is where it needs to come through, and it's got to really be flawless from this point going forward. They have to set themselves up for success. That's a nice opening nade at least, but the pick could quickly go back in favor of Endpoint. Fortunately for Thomas, he's forced to fall back.
Well, they've done it before on Vertigo. They were down 12-3 and managed to make a comeback, sadly losing 16-13, but now it's on Vertigo. As we're seeing now, Cypher's going to see what he can find, but another rotate will come in. It's Surreal seeing if anyone will boost up, but nonetheless, only 2 members on site, so Impact and MT. Currently waiting for them, got the angles covered, just not short B, but at least he's waiting there anyway. But nonetheless, the money does come in. Max gets to first, gets traded off. Finally, Crucial. Let's get another one of his own. So, it does seem like now Surreal does get one. The backup for the time being, but New Dog does get another one. So there is potential here for a retake, but we'll have to see what Moki can do. He's been messed around a little bit on connector. Surreal has backed off only on 7 HP. But it's not going to happen here. They're way too weak. They haven't got the numbers advantage. We're going to have to give this round up because, like I said before, if they lose this round, it could be all downhill from here. So they need to save anything they can. And it looks like Endpoint could possibly be on the charge. But if Surreal gets at least one, then that would be huge.
Yeah. At least they're not hunting them too deeply, not going to go overly aggressive, run the risk of losing those guns. They will build up their economy. 14-4, Endpoint very close to winning this first map and shutting it down in pretty quick succession as well. And that is the scary factor, that it's been so quick. CeX can try and buy back up around that, and they're going to have to as well, as they don't really have the sustainability to wait out the rest of these rounds. They need to force back in. So they buy back up. It's lucky 2 of them survived, or they would have not even been in the position to be able to do this. Curious to see what the strategy is going to be from Endpoint coming back into this, though.
Seems like CeX are running out of ideas as we go further into this first map. But what can Endpoint do here? It seems like they've just been on a train. As I say, that Crucial does get taken there by Cypher. Cypher finally gets traded by Max, but Murky is on standby, waiting for them. Gets one. Will he get 2? Yes, he does. Will he get a 3rd? No, he won't, as Thomas gets traded off nicely there. It will be 3v2 in favour of CeX, but if Newt Dog gets this next frag down long, that'd be so important, but he doesn't, sadly, as Thomas manages to take him down. Both MT and Impact will have to try and go for that retake.
2-on-2. They have all the natural tools to win this round, and more importantly, they've got some tools to defuse the bomb a little bit quicker as well. MT has the kit on him. They've got the utility to transmoke off the bomb site and the Molotovs to work with. But you're up against Surreal and Thomas. Thomas will swing, and he'll try and make this terrifying tail terminate a little bit quicker as he picks off the initial man, leaving it all down to MT, who is now down on the ground. Slips over as Surreal will slaughter him. That's 15-4, Harry. 1 round is all it'll take for Endpoint to shut down this opening map and put themselves 1-0 up in the series. I mean, they'll only take 2 more for them to lock it down and become the really record-breaking organisation in the Premiership. It would be, what, 5 titles, which is the most we've ever had in the Prem across all games. Quite scary stuff when you think about it.
That is a scary stat indeed. They are a dangerous team. Max going plus 12 and Thomas contributing to 32 frags. It's ridiculous here as Murky managed to find one in the end, but Crucial got Cypher, but isn't too sure about the whereabouts of Murky, so he's backed off for the time being. Robin made the call, but decided that Crucial's going to back away, which is completely understandable. So CeX, they could potentially know it is a B play. Max is going to peek out anyway to see what he can find. That was a beautiful shot against MT. Surreal gets one of his own on Murky. And it's 4v2 now. This could be the final round of the map here, as 2 of the members will be going too short B to see if they make the rotation. Surreal's going to get the info necessary, and then just going to push straight on into A. It's going to be a very difficult retake if it's under, but let's put Surreal. It doesn't matter. He takes both members down from Connector, and a beautiful free K from him to finish things off.